Hey, I'm Paris with Paris and Reads, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I read and review books from a biblical worldview. Today, we're going to be talking about all the books on my personal fall to-be-read list. There are 13 of them, and my list just continues to grow. I don't know about you, but anytime I get on Instagram or YouTube, I am adding another book to my to-be-read list. So I need your help. I need your help to clear out my TBR. I need to know if these books are either not set in fall like I think they are, or they have spice, or maybe you just personally didn't like it for some reason. But I need any excuse, like literally any excuse, to take these off of my reading list because I just can't read 13 books in the fall season. Let me know in the comments as I go what books either you have read and loved, or you have read and not loved, or you have heard maybe something about that would help me look into the book further. I go into books blind. I love going into books blind. So a lot of times I kind of get myself in between like a rock and a hard place with some of the content in books, specifically spice, because I don't like to seek that out or read books with too much of it that like border on the smut margin. But if you highly recommend one of these, let me know, because I would love to bump up, this is my short list of fall reads, and then if I have time, these are the rest that I need to get to. So let me know in the comments. Unlike my other videos where I do my quick takes, since I have not read any of these books, I'm gonna do just like the genre and the average Goodreads rating on all of these. I own 5 of these books we're gonna be talking about, and the rest are just truly on my insane TBR. Without further ado, let's get into all of my fall TBR books. First up is a classic, Dracula, and I haven't ever really wanted to read this book, but I've been seeing it recently on Bookstagram, and I actually got it for free. It's included in Audible, so you don't have to use a credit on it. I love finding books included in Audible because I listen to so many audiobooks now that 1 credit a month on Audible just doesn't do it sometimes, especially if my Libby holds aren't coming through. So I really love finding books that make me feel like I'm getting more for my money on my Audible subscription, and Dracula is one of those. I actually already have it in my Audible library. I just need to get to a point in all my current reads that I can start it. If you have not used Audible before or want to see if you can get another free trial, because I know they kind of go in and out, I'm going to put my link down in the caption and you can get a free trial of Audible. So Dracula genre is a classic gothic novel, and it has an average of 4 stars on Goodreads. First up in my romance genre is Off the Beaten Path by Madison Wright. I have not read anything by this author. I actually bought this book, I think last year, so I've had it for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to it. If I don't have a Libby hold that's like, your time limit's coming up and you need to read this type pressure, or it on audio, it's really been difficult for me in my current season of life with lots of littles running around to get to physical books. I actually think this is on Kindle Unlimited, so I really have no excuse not to read it because I can get it on my Kindle. Madison Wright is a closed door author, so I know that it's closed door, and I haven't read anything by hers, but I know this is very fall coded. So this is, let's see what she has. She has a romantic comedy. So this is a contemporary rom-com, and it has a 3.75 average Goodread rating. One of my favorite closed door authors is Courtney Walsh, and so I have one of her fall books on my TBR, and that is Can't Help Falling. I don't know anything about this. I do know that it is in a interconnected standalone series by some other authors. I think it's like book 3 maybe in that series, but you can read them all as one-offs. I do not plan to read that whole series because wow, I don't read that much romance. But I love Courtney Walsh. I love what she's doing in the closed door sweet romance market, and this is a fall book by her. It's a contemporary romance and it has a 4.14 Goodreads average. Okay, towing the line between romance, the current genre, and the next genre I'm going to jump into, which is historical fiction, is What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. I have read 1 book by her, and it's actually a fantasy, but all of her books I believe are on Kindle Unlimited, and I have heard such amazing things about this book specifically. I believe it is set in Ireland. I really need to get to this book. It has a 4.36 average Goodreads rating, and again, the genre is historical romance. The only historical fiction I have on my fall TBR is The First Witch of Boston by Andrea Catalano, and I actually think I already struck this from my TBR when I was prepping for this video. I was looking through a couple reviews, and apparently it has a lot of explicit spice. So I actually got this book for free from Amazon First Reads, and if you don't know what that is, basically you can sign up on Amazon. It's a free program, and at the beginning of the month they put out like it's usually around 5 titles that you can access. You can pick 1 or 2 of them, I can't remember. You can access for free, and it just sends to your Kindle. I have been seeing it around Bookstagram. I've been hearing really great things about it, but apparently it has like a ton of explicit spice, and that is just like not my cup of tea. I think I've already X'd this one from the list just for my personal reading preferences, but this is a historical fiction about the first witch during the Salem witch trial era. Really interesting plot, but I'm not about the explicit spice content. Again, this is a historical fiction, and it has a 4.23 average Goodreads rating. Okay, I am reading this book. If you know anything about me, you know I love Agatha Christie, and you know that I am reading her Hercule Poirot series currently in order, but I am going to stop my in order reading so I can get this specific book read this year in the fall. I was planning to read it last year and it just didn't happen. I actually recently thrifted it, and that is Halloween Party. It is the 3rd to last book in her series, so I wouldn't be reading it until maybe like 3 or 4 years from now. If I keep going in order of her Hercule Poirot series. So I'm making an exception. I plan to read this book, but this is a specifically very fall. Obviously, it's called Halloween Party. It's also known by another title, A Haunting in Venice. I believe it is a movie. Maybe I could be wrong, but this is on my fall TBR. This is, like I said, at the top. This is at the top of my TBR list. Plan to get to it within the next month. This is a murder mystery, and it has a average 3.57 Goodreads rating. Another book on my murder mystery genre fall TBR is Every Moment Since. This is by Mary Beth Mayhew Whalen. I actually received this in a PR box last year, and I just didn't get to it last fall, but this has really high Goodreads reviews, and I've heard really great things about it. It is like a true crime mystery. Again, don't know really anything about it, but I've heard really great things. Beautiful cover. It's been sitting on my shelf for a while, so I think it's time. Again, this is a true crime mystery, and it has a 3.91 average star rating on Goodreads. Still in the murder mystery vein is Shady Hollow by Juno Black, and this is the first book in a cozy murder mystery series. This book is specifically set in fall. I think all of them are kind of seasonal, and so I don't really know which one's fall and which seasons, but this one specifically I know is fall, and I've heard it is a really fun, cozy, kind of like fantastical mystery because the main characters are all animals. I actually just recently had this from Libby, and I did not get to it in time, and I'm so upset. It also was just recently discounted. It might still be. I'll link it below. I'll have all these books linked below. It was on like a super sale for like $7 on Amazon for the physical book, and I didn't buy it, and I'm like regretting it big time. Again, cozy murder mystery I've heard really great things about. I think I've either heard like I love it or I didn't like it. There's really no in between. I love a cozy story, so I'm really excited to read this one. Eventually, I do think, because I already had it on Libby and I already have it on hold again, which I think it's like 10 weeks now for the hold, of course. I'm hoping to get to it soonish. This is a cozy fantasy mystery and has a 3.77 average star rating on Goodreads. YA fantasy. Okay, so I'm always really afraid to actually recommend YA fantasies and like tell you that they're marketed that way because I just don't trust the YA genre at all. But I do trust this author, Erin Phillips, and this is her A Bond of Briars. I actually didn't really know this was fall coded until someone recently shared on Bookstagram. They would recommend it for your fall TBR. So apparently it is like a curse and an apple grove orchard and very fall vibes. This is actually a fantastical retelling of Ruth, and I loved the other book that I've read by Erin. I love what she is doing in the YA fantasy market. So would highly recommend her books. And this is one that is new to my fall TBR. So again, my ever-growing TBR, like I just added this on last week. And this is a YA fantasy, and it has a 4.37 average Goodreads rating. Another YA fantasy that I've heard really great things about. So take it how you want it as it being YA, because I can't specifically speak to the content in this book because I haven't read any of these, but this is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson, and I have heard so many great things about this. It has come highly recommended to me from Bookstagram, and it is a very fall coded. That's all I know about it. I can't remember if it's part of a series or duology or if it's a standalone. If you've read it, let me know in the comments, because again, I've heard really great things about this one. And again, YA fantasy with a 3.64 average Goodreads rating, which I was really surprised by. I thought the average rating would be up a little bit. I love the cover. It's beautiful. If I love it, I'm going to want a copy of it. Out of the YA into the adult fantasy. This one's actually marketed as YA, but I'm not going to recommend it to the YA audience. I think just because some of the themes of it are going to be really heavy, and I don't know specifically any of the content or anything about the storyline. Again, I'm going into it blind. This is probably like new adult, I would guess, category. And I actually have this currently available in audio for me to read on Libby, and that is The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. A girl I follow on Bookstagram recently read this and gave it 5 stars and loved it, and her and I have really similar like fantasy reading tastes, so I'm really excited to dive into this. As a gothic fantasy, and it has a 4.05 average Goodreads rating. Another fantasy on my fall TBR is The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst, and this is a cozy fantasy. I've heard really great things about this one too. I actually I don't even think this is set in fall. I honestly think this might be a spring book. So if you've read this, let me know. Again, I like going in blind, so I don't want to do like too much research on it and like get stuff spoiled for myself, but it has beautiful purple end pages. Now that I'm looking at the cover, there's a lot of flowers. I think this is a spring book. So if you've read it, let me know, yes or no, is this spring? And if it's spring, like I said, I need literally the smallest excuse to get something off of my fall TBR. I will quickly nix this one and add it to my spring list. This is a cozy fantasy and has a 4.03 average Goodreads rating. My final book, which is actually 2 books on my fall TBR, is a duology by Rachel Gillig, and it is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. I've heard so many great things about this. Again, I think this might be marketed as YA, but I'm going to put it in the new adult category because I know for certain that each book has one open door scene. So because of that, I'm not going to recommend it to a YA audience. I believe these are on Kindle Unlimited. I tried to get to them last fall, and it did not happen. So these are on my short list as well for the fall, and I've just heard really great things about these being very atmospheric, a unique magic system, and so I'm really excited to get into these. I think they are like a darker gothic type romantasy, actually. They also have really high Goodreads ratings. One Dark Window, the first one, has a 4.27 Goodreads star rating, and then the second book, Two Twisted Crowns, actually has a higher average star rating, which I love to see in a second book, and it's sitting at 4.4 stars on Goodreads. That's it for my fall TBR. Again, please, literally any excuse for me to get one of these off or to bump it up on my list. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what's on your fall TBR, because again, not that I need to add any more on my list, but I would love to know either what is on your fall to be read list or one that you think I should add to mine. I'm always happy to take book recommendations to add to my reading list. And if you have not already subscribed, make sure you click my face right here and subscribe to my channel, where you can find book reviews from a biblical worldview. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out this video next, where I talk about more books. And until next time, I hope all of your cozy fall reads are 5 stars.